Okay, you've seen Sherlock. I think you might know we have two basset hounds. And we also have, for my house, we also have Lily. Lily is about 14 years old. She is my middle daughter's cat. She did have a litter mate, Lulu, who passed away a few months ago. Um, Lily generally stays in my daughter's room. So you might hear a little bit of that just because I don't really have the heart um, to put her in the room and lock her up right now. So I just adjusted that key light, pointed it down a little bit more at my head. I mean, all of this is new. I'm trying with every video to improve the quality, to improve my delivery, to improve the content. So bear with me if you don't mind, because it's a little harder process than I thought it was. I think every once in a while I just want to kind of bitch about something. I just went out and got the mail, and this was in the mail. Let me see if I can show you. It says final notice. Ooh, final notice. And final notice that comes standard mail is generally just nonsense. And this is the final notice of student loan consolidation and payment reduction program prepared for me with new laws discounting federal student loans. I hate getting mail like this. I just hate junk mail like this. Number one, I think it's like clickbait. Final notice. We'll never, ever, ever send you another piece of mail about trying to get your business again. Never, ever, ever. So the subject of today's DroneHead Quickie is, pardon the pun, to verify or not to verify. I even screwed that up. And it's kind of the what, where's, why's, and how's of drone flight insurance. And the first question you might want to ask yourself is, what the heck is drone flight insurance? And the second question is, why the hell do I need drone flight insurance? Well, settle down. We'll go ahead and discuss that. So, in a nutshell, drone flight insurance, at least the stuff I use, is a flight insurance policy that you take out for a short period of time, usually just an hour, covering maybe a quarter-mile radius of area, and it costs about $10 or $15 depending on where you are, as long as you're in an area that you're allowed to fly, and it's good for $1 million. Now, the company that I use, which is called Verifly, keeps expanding their coverage. Now you can get up to 8 hours, a 2-mile, I think a 2-mile radius. I'll throw it up on the screen. It may just be a 1-mile radius, and insurance coverage up to $5 million. Now, as a recreational drone pilot, you may be thinking, I'll never need this. But if you're going to be flying somewhere around valuable property, somewhere where you losing control of your drone or your drone just failing on you could cause a catastrophic problem, you might want to think about this. $10 is not a lot of money. However, for the most part, just flying recreationally, you're not going to want this. And I understand. Flying commercially is a whole nother story. If you fly commercially, then you have created some sort of a company, some sort of a legal entity, a corporation, or an LLC, or a sole proprietorship, or something. And you're taking your drone out to do videography to make money. And it goes without saying that your company is liable for any damages that you do. And if you do big damage and you have no insurance whatsoever, let's say your drone gets a mind of its own and takes off and you can't control it with your controller, and then the motors quit and it falls on Miss Texas USA's head and creates major trauma to her face, then if you don't have some sort of insurance, just give her the keys to your car, the keys to your house, give her your kids' birth certificates because they're going to be her kids, I mean, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Now, it's a little dramatic. Likelihood of that happening is almost zero, but my point is you need to have some protection for yourself, some protection for your company, some protection for your family. With a limited liability corporation like I have, my family is pretty well insulated by what's called the corporate veil. However, in certain instances, the court is allowed to pierce the corporate veil to come through the company to get at me personally. So I would prefer not to do anything that creates that possibility. So when I go out to fly professionally, I go ahead and I get a policy, even if it's just the quarter-mile radius for an hour, and that's part of the contract with my customer. I was asked, I actually just did a short video I put up for the regional healthcare system that I work for. They put it up last night on their Facebook page. It's already got over 900 hits, and a physician that I know that does not work for the regional healthcare system saw it and asked his nurse to contact me about doing a video for his practice, which sounds great to me. But here's the thing: I'm going to be flying over a building that costs about $1 million to make. For the most part, I'm going to try and do it when there are no real actual patients there. But I could fall out of the sky and land on somebody's car. You know, it might all be minor, it might not be a big deal, but something I certainly don't have money in my company's bank account to repair. So part of my contract when I do this video will be the insurance policy, whatever size I think I need, half-mile radius, quarter-mile radius, probably no more than $1 million, and I'll probably do it for an hour or 2 hours. So it can get to be $25, $50, and you have to kind of factor that into your fee for what you're doing. Now I know there's some people out there, there has to be some people out there that are going, but son of a Bob, studies have shown that drone crashes cause minimal damage to the environment or to people's heads. That was my sarcastic voice. I'm sorry it wasn't very good. And that's true. But drone crashes will cause some damage to somebody's head. And I don't care how many times I see them dropping a drone on a dummy's head. You drop a drone out of the sky from 400 feet directly onto somebody's head, it's going to cause a problem. And you know what? Sometimes people pretend like it caused a bigger problem than it did. So that argument really doesn't work very well for me. So you basically have to decide, when do you need it. If you've seen my Bluebonnet video on the Far Reach Productions LLC YouTube channel, didn't need it. The Bluebonnets weren't going to sue me if I accidentally crashed into them. If you look at the one where I'm doing the vacation rentals and I'm flying over the Wind Dancer at Galveston Beach and over the Point West Beach Club, you need to be insured. When I was out over the bay, over Galveston Bay, flying over the cargo ships, I did not insure that. Number one, because it's hard to hurt a cargo ship, although conceivably you could hit somebody on the cargo ship, although I think I saw one person on any of the boats I flew over. But number two, some of those cargo ships were, how far out? Over 7,000 feet. And at the time, Verifly did not cover that distance. So I was kind of taking my chances, but I felt pretty safe with it. So, like I said, I use Verifly, and I honestly don't even know if there's other drone insurance out there. I know there is insurance that will cover drone flights, but I don't know if you can get it in these little segments of time like you can with Verifly. And here's all the standard yada yada. I don't work for Verifly. They don't know I'm making this, etc., etc., etc. I recommend it highly if you're going to use drone insurance. I'm waiting for them to offer it to pilots with their Part 107 certification that also have a 107.29 waiver to fly at night. At the present time, they don't fly at night. So if any part of your flight's going to overlap into nighttime hours, they want to ensure that. So plan accordingly if you do want it. So once you've decided on your needs, you click on the button at the bottom. The app's already got your payment information. So it takes it immediately out of your account, and then it sends you an email with a copy of your insurance policy in it. So you can look at your policy immediately. Excuse me. In addition, you can email that policy to whoever you're working for. So if I'm doing the shoot for this physician and he's like, I want you to have this insurance and I want to see that you have this insurance before we get going, I can immediately email it to him and he can get it and print it out. And it's a long legal contract, and I would suggest, and I did this myself, I did a quarter mile, $10 flight just to see how everything looked, and then I printed out the policy and I read it line by line, and you need to be able to do that too. There's nothing tricky in there that I saw, but you need to read it. And if you're just not sure what it's saying and you do have a company, you may also have a lawyer on a retainer, and you can always put this in front of them and hopefully they won't charge you very much to read it and go, watch out for this, or this is pretty simple, don't, just fly safely. So final thoughts, like I said, recreational guys, do you need it? Not necessarily. Commercial guys, do you need it? Not necessarily. However, I think it does up your credibility with your customers if you can say I'm a Part 107 pilot, which you better be if you're flying commercially. I have a waiver for 107.29, 107.41. I use Verifly insurance, etc., etc. I think it not only makes you look better professionally, it looks better on your website, and it makes you look better face-to-face with your customer. Anyway, that's it about Verifly. If you have any questions, go ahead and call me. No, call me. Don't call me. Go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll be glad to answer. And that's it for this DroneHead Quickie, which probably wasn't all that quick, and I apologize. If you like, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down, and think about subscribing. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you later.